All right, so as you can see, there's so much talk about reparations and why do we deserve it since we did not actually live at the time of slavery. The funny thing about that is they were giving reparations to Native Americans, and we all know that not a single Native American was that's here today um, experienced what their ancestors experienced, but it is very deserving that they receive reparations. I mean, savages, did complete genocide on them. And yes, they deserve reparations. However, we deserve reparations. And most people think that reparations is money. No, they didn't just steal wealth. They also stole education, educational opportunities. That was the whole point of Board v. Brown v. Board of Education. It wasn't so we can just be in the same schools. It was really about having the opportunities that those schools gave, better books and access to education. Also, businesses and communities that were just torn to pieces, families torn apart. So, when you give reparations, everyone who is um, in school or trying to go to college, college should be free. College should be free. Everyone who has the credit should be able to get an option to buy a house with no down payment, no closing costs. Everyone who is below the poverty at or below the poverty line should get a monetary stipend so they no longer have to be that at the poverty below the poverty line. So now you're helping people get homes without them having to pay down payment, closing costs, or any extra costs. People can go to school without having to pay for it. Any school they want, as long as they qualify, as long as they meet the requirements, they should be able to go to school for free. Those who went to school, loan forgiveness, who want to get business loans, they should be able to get business loans. Minimum $50,000 business loans, as long as they have prove a worthy business plan. All of these are options. So whenever we hear these presidents saying no reparations, I mean, they know that monetary is not the only option because that's why they gave the casino to the Native Americans. They know money itself is not the only option. There's several ways to repay back. But no, we don't just want money because we want our kids to have access to education without having to pay for it. We want to have the opportunity to have businesses, and that's where the grants comes in. And mind you, when I say school, I mean any school. When I going back to free school, not just college, but graduate and masters, doctors, all those things. As long as they pass and get they're qualified, it should be free schooling. Everyone who is currently existing at the time of the reparations, by the time of 2020, everyone who is alive or in the womb should benefit from these reparations. And from there, if everyone get those opportunities to go to school and have business loans, all the unborn, besides the one that's in the womb, all the um, children to come will greatly benefit from that because they have a parent now who has education who would not have had the opportunity, or they have parents now who has a home. They don't have to live in the hood because now they can qualify for a loan to get a home. um, they also have opportunities for a business, to grow from that, and their business grow so now they can make more money. um, so these are just some forms of reparations. And when I say in every school that's 60% black, and when I say school, I mean from kindergarten through um, a senior in high school. Every school that's 60% black needs to have state of the art program, as if it was a magnet or a private school. So the schools need to be nice, the education programs need to be nice. So we need to now put the same effort into black schools as they put into other schools. So again, if you have a child that's in middle school, elementary, high school, the reparations should pay for your school. If it's 60% black, it should pay for a state of the art program. So at least you know your child's getting the education that they deserve. And reparations should be only for those who are 50% black. So I know there's many, there's other cultures that have maybe some, you know, ancestors that were slaves, but this is only those who are 50% are black. And the reason why I say that is because anybody can say, oh, some time ago, I had someone who is who was a slave and they're my ancestor, but I'm not black. But it wouldn't affect them because if they are non-black, like let's say they're white, they're gonna benefit from white privilege. Um, if they're Even if they're another person of color, the blacks have really been treated like second class citizens. I mean, I don't know any other group that's had um, minstrel shows created just for them. I don't know any people who are putting on shoe polish to make mockery of them. Any um, any clothing company that's making a mockery of them with trinkets, with a black face figure or a monkey figure. I don't I don't know a race that's been so demeaned and belittled as blacks. I mean, if slavery is really over, if they took the L, then it would have been slavery's done, we're all fine, we've moved on, we've grown. But that's not the case. Slavery was over and they said, no, I don't want it to be over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do black code laws. When those were abolished, I'm going to do Jim Crow laws that lasted for 100 years. Okay, well, now that's over. I'm going to do my crime bill. I'm going to do redlining. I'm going to infringe on their voting rights. I'm going to do everything in my power for years and years and years to come just to belittle them. And that's why we need reparations, because it didn't just end at slavery. We got parents that grew up during Jim Crow, grandparents that are still alive. So I think that it is deserving, and it's sad that you have people that do not want to provide it. And I don't want an apology. Just let us repair our communities. Just let us. So put your comments, hit the like button, and subscribe. I want to know what you think of reparations for the American descendants of slaves.